So yeah, PvP right now, you know, it's fairly dead. That's fair to say. And I see like so many reasons and theories as to kind of why it is, and different suggestions on how to fix it. It seems some people are convinced there's like a bug with MMR, and that it's just just bugs straight up. From what I can tell, that's not the case actually. But I guess the question is, yeah, like why is it kind of dead? Is the MMR not going up because people aren't playing? Or are people not playing because the MMR is not going up? You know? I think factors like people not having tier set and like no one to queue against 4 set when you have 0 set, if you got bad RNG. Like, it's next reason now we can finally make tier set 1 week. So I definitely think there's like a bunch of factors when it comes to why it's kind of feeling kind of dead right now. I think Shuffle, probably a bit worse than last season, is still, or at least the same. It's always been kind of dead though, especially for DPS. You know, very, very long queues. The queue times for healers has also gone up now though, quite a bit from what I've been seeing. Shuffle's a horrible game mode. I think Shuffle's cool, man, but like there's just so many issues. But yeah, I think there's like a bunch of things that's kind of going on though. We can kind of should we try compile a list of things, problems with Arena and 10.1? And it's not really just 10.1, also in general though, right? I feel like one major issue that's definitely contributing is just like early season now, it doesn't really feel like it's worth playing. Maybe you have a bad gear, but maybe the MMR just feels bad. If you just come back late in the season, it's going to be way easier to kind of get those same rewards. So I think that's definitely an issue. So I'll put down like gearing, I guess, when it comes to tier set, mainly. I was actually just going to write tier set, because I think the gearing in general is great right now. Like, gearing is easy to do when it comes to most of it. But I really think, like, not being able to actually get tier set reliably the first month or whatever it is feels really, really bad. And just having to like get lucky with the vaults. See, like one kind of interesting dynamic from last season is that in last season we had Shuffle and MMR was just like way inflated, right? And then threes was still like not very inflated. So people were not very incentivized to play threes or twos for that matter, because the same rewards were way easier to get in Shuffle. And now they've kind of fixed that by making Shuffle also not inflated, seems, as fast. And Shuffle's now more in line with threes and twos. And I guess there's kind of 2 ways to fix that. Either it's like when Shuffle's crazy inflated and threes is not, you can like bring back or bring Shuffle down to like threes and twos inflation. But I feel like, which to me seems kind of what's happened, where it's more limited now and capped. But I think like a better solution would kind of have them meet maybe halfway, where the inflation is somehow a bit more flexible depending on the season and like how the season's feeling, you know, between the brackets. I'm not sure like how this will be done, but I'm sure there's a solution for this. But instead of like bringing the Shuffle inflation just all the way down and having, you know, it be as hard, because threes, remember early season threes as well last season also felt like really, really rough. But you don't want things to be crazy inflated. You want things or super deflated. That is middle ground, you know? You want middle ground that feels good. A good sense of progression. MMR capped. Again, but yeah, this issue is like, Is the MR not going up because people aren't playing, or is people not playing because the MR is not going up? It's probably a bit of both, maybe. And of course, we have like Shuffle queue times. They're massive. There's been like a bunch of, you know, ideas on kind of how to fix this. I feel like the rewards are definitely could be way better for healers and stuff. But I guess at the end of the day, healing needs to feel fun for people to want to heal Shuffle. But yeah, so Numbing made like a post about participation and MR issues on the forums, which I thought was actually pretty good. So yeah, a common complaint in the current season is that the MR is too low and I can't realistically get my 800 or 2-1 rewards, so why would I queue? I've heard this a lot. Like people complain or it's a point that people bring up is that you know, the facing rank once Peekaboo or not. He's always on like, you know, doing viewer games, but you know, facing Sea-Doo or freaking Magnus on like 1800, and they're used to, you know, being able to get that, but now it feels way harder, and then they get kind of discouraged by that, which is a fair point too. People point to this as a reason participation is real low. My point with this thread is to convince you MMR is not the issue. So I think this is probably true, where MMR isn't really the issue, but actually people playing, not really playing the game is the issue, which makes it feel that bad. Which makes this, that doesn't make this less valid, right? So yeah, Numbing posts like a few things there, which I think are pretty good. So one thing he's kind of proposing is a overhaul of LFG, which I think is definitely needed, man. LFG kind of fell off a cliff once Soul Shovel was out, and I actually kind of miss LFG, man. Overall, LFG system. People still struggle to find people to queue with at their experience level. The LFG system needs to be omnipresent. In other words, I should be able to post that I'm an arcade mage looking for X specs with the X experience that is up all the time. Even from offline, people can send me messages to add them later to queue later. I think it's a good idea, yeah. And I think there's probably like a bunch of things they could do with LFG, though. There's probably a lot of things they could do with LFG. Having it be more of a thing you can just have up even when you're not playing. And they can log in and be like, yo, this guy wants to play, can plan a time, and then boom, you know? But I think there's definitely things like that should be done with MMR as well. I think if they can somehow have MMR be more flexible. It's like weird, because some seasons are like way more inflated, and then you have Duelist, one season is way different from Duelist a different season. And like that kind of inconsistency, I think feels really bad from season to season. The previous system of the percentage base kind of fixes that in a way, but not completely either. There'll still be different season to season. But it's like wildly inconsistent right now, you know, with how hard it is to get from season to season. I think that feels bad for people. Because people might get Glide one season or whatever it is, Duelist one season. And the next season, for example, like Shadowlands Season 2 to Season 3, they're like, yo, I got Duelist last season, now I'm hard stuck 1700, and then it just feels bad for them. How I see it, there's probably a bunch of factors that are all there. And it's kind of hard to, like, you know, pinpoint one thing. It's a hard issue to solve. But I do think, yeah, definitely doing something with the MR. Catalyst earlier, like make the game feel better in early season, and like less RNG when it comes to Terra set. That's like the main RNG thing now, which is not that bad compared to previous seasons. But shovel queue times, again, a big issue with probably many solutions, some harder to implement. So next thing you type or proposition is one that's a bit more controversial, I think. Increase PvP eye level in PvE. So have the PvP gear be a bit better in PvE. I think there's like a sweet spot here where you have it be like the best gear for PvP is from PvP, and the best gear for PvE is in PvE, but where you can still kind of go between them quite easily. I'm not sure like how much I agree with like this point overall. I'm not quite sure how it is right now. I think right now it's probably, from what I've heard, the PvE gear is pretty bad in PvE. But I think like this probably just comes down to PvEers want a PvE, you know? But I do think there's something to that, like having a sweet spot where the jump, because some people will make the jump. They will. And I think there's definitely like a sweet spot to make that jump feel better both ways. And then we got number 3, bring back weekly Conquest Cap rewards from BFA. This is a participation reward that is immediately tangible. The rewards can be similar to the trading post with mounts, toys, transmods, consumables, lofty sum of gold, 5k and more. I, for one, know a ton of people that would just try to get a pet or two to collect. I think that's good stuff. Let's say like that there was like a weekly little PP reward that had a low percent drop chance for like a very cool mount, or yeah, and had like different things in it. I think those kind of things go a long way. So it's not like that's gonna solve everything, but I think that does add some fun to it, you know. Like have like some you know some very rare items, some less rare items, and then you could have some cool transmogs, some cool mounts. Glad mount drop chance? No, don't have the glad mount be drop chance. Have like a its own thing there. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it's a good idea. And class balance. Obviously, this goes without saying is something they need to constantly work on. Yeah, class balance. So I feel like class balance has been pretty good overall, but of course, it's like constant thing that has to be monitored always. If you think MR being low at start of season is the reason why people are queuing, that is, and that increasing it was skyrocket participation, you're mistaken. I agree with that. I don't think it's like necessarily like completely wrong that MR being low is an issue. I think it probably is a bit of an issue, especially now between shuffle and threes, and like having the balance between the brackets is definitely a thing. But I don't think just like having a MR go up more is gonna fix everything. 100% not. These people will get their 800 or 2-1 and start for the rest of the season. It should be a seasonal goal, not something you get in a couple of weeks. Also, anecdotally, the people trying for these rewards are the ones that will leave your group after one loss. So, that's his experience. I think what it comes down to, the game is pretty fun right now, at least to me. Feral feels good, and we're gonna enjoy the video gaming. And I think things, will peak and have, dips and stuff with other game releases too. And for example, like right now, people are playing D4. A lot of people are, or classic hardcore, and that might also be factors into why he's feeling a bit more dead.